Hello, visibility hackers. Welcome to this week's episode of The Live Show. I'm your host, Molly from Visibility Hacking Studios. And boy, oh boy, not only do we have a great episode lined up for you this week, but my biggest announcement is the fact that a Live Academy Summer Edition is officially open. That's right, you can finally register for Live Academy. It starts July 11th. You can head over to visibilityhacking.com/let's go live. Visibilityhacking.com/let's go live. And you can get the one-on-one service and attention that your live show, your business, your movement, your people deserve. So go sign up for that. And let's just dive into today's episode. One of my favorite things about the world of online business and digital marketing are the people that I've been able to connect with. Having a show, having a platform has enabled me pretty much an excuse to get sitting down and chatting with some remarkable people, business leaders, entrepreneurs, creatives, people who otherwise, if I didn't have a platform, would have no reason to spend time, sit down, and share their experience, their knowledge, and their superpowers with me. If I didn't have a show, none of that would be possible. And the same thing applies to your business as well. And here on the show, we've brought on guests that have had that same experience, where their entire platforms are built on the connections and the interviews that they're able to make. Now, going a little bit further down the rabbit hole, we have guests that we can share information and who can share their knowledge and expertise. But if we go a little bit deeper, we start to think of the idea of mentors. We start to think about ourselves as leaders within our communities, as leaders within our movements, as positioning ourselves not just as marketers, as people who sell stuff, but as trusted mentors. And I think that's just such a fantastic idea, to think about ourselves in the footsteps, in the story of our customers. When our customers go to tell their story of success, how they overcame obstacles, how they were able to achieve stuff, it's because of us. So we should paint ourselves into that story for them. And I think that's really powerful. And all of this is coming out of an interview I did a couple months back with 2 Comma Club winner Mark Stern. He does, well, casually people will say he does boxes. He sends you swag boxes, but it's not swag boxes. See, what he's doing is doing a physical representation of the experience, of that community, of that connection that our company and our business and our movement has with each and every individual student. And what he does is so, so powerful. I was on the receiving end of some of his clients' physical experiences, and I have to say they are remarkable. This man is a genius, and I had the honor and the privilege of getting to sit down with him for the live show. So without further ado, why don't I just share with you his interview? I did a crazy thing leading up to Funnel Hacking Live, and I decided the night before Funnel Hacking Live pretty much that I was going to start a new show, and I did, and it was great, and it started at like 5 o'clock in the morning because I wanted to do a show that no one was going to listen to, but then they started listening to it, and it was great. And that little crazy idea that I had led me to meet some really friggin' amazing people. So I want to invite onto the show our very first 2 Comma Club official winner. Mine's unofficial. So I just want to say congratulations, Mark. Amazing job. You do amazing work. You build amazing connections, and I'm really happy to have you here. Welcome.
Thrilled to be here. I've been like pinging you, being like, can we be friends? Can we be friends? So I'm glad we made this happen. We're doing it.
Amazing. So on this crazy show that I had, this is where I met you, and you said something that has stuck in my head to the point that I wrote it down on a sticky note and I stuck it up on my wall. and you talk about how you want to make sure that you position yourself as the business that is going to be part of the solution, the story of your customers' success.
Mm.
And that's, I think that's super powerful. And I just want to dive straight in. Tell me more.
So much of that to me, I love this idea of the trusted mentor. And I love the term trusted mentor because, and this is true for me in my journey as an entrepreneur. I was deep in corporate America. And then I thought that was like the world was corporate America. Like, this is your pathway to the, White House with a picket fence, like follow the path. And I followed it I was like poster child for corporate America, all the way down to like, got my MBA at the good school and then like worked for a big consulting firm. And it was funny. It was 2012, and I was $165,000 in student loan debt, and I had this job that I was committed to for 2 years. And by the terms of my job, when you work for like a big corporate firm like that, they own everything you produce. So you sign away that like if I produce something inside the firm or outside the firm, they own it. To the point that where I was in the firm, every 6 months I had to go through a compliance process to say, here are the stocks that I invested in. Here are the boards I'm a part of. And they can come back and say, either leave the firm or get rid of that. And that was like a pressure that like the idea of a side hustle just wasn't an option. Yeah. So come in the digital marketing realm where I'm meeting these people that are doing these crazy things and they're not subject to the same constraints that were truly suffocating as an entrepreneur. For me, once I started to venture it truly was the wild, wild west. And it was hard to find a trusted mentor, someone that like I could truly like have confidence in, that could be the guide to help solve some of the biggest pain points I was having. So I like this whole idea of a trusted mentor because I think the reality is it's so easy to be a victim of shiny object syndrome where you buy. And you all of a sudden have all these, like for me, like a bundle. Oh my God, it sounds amazing. You can buy a bundle that has 5,000 trainings in it. And the reality is you don't go through any of them because you already feel like a failure because you can barely get through anything. And the truth is like we preach so much of these principles that we think are good for the sale, but is it really setting yourself up to be a trusted mentor? So to me, I think that we're not looking for buying products and services from dozens and dozens of people. I think we're looking for the one or two trusted mentors who deliver information in a way that gets me to take action and get the result as to why I invested it. So I would rather invest in experience and connection and celebration of people and giving them the tools they need. And we'll talk more about like why I love what I do, but this idea of being a trusted mentor is I don't want you to work. I don't want you to buy my products and services and let them sit on your bookshelf. Yep. Like I invested time to help do what I do to help people achieve what it is that they're seeking to achieve, address those pain points. So that's why it's just like the role of the trusted mentor to me is so important, because if I position myself as someone that without a shadow of a doubt can help me get that outcome, every single product or service that I have to offer as I grow my business, it's going to get easier and easier and easier. And that's why I'm like, are you truly thinking about your role as the trusted mentor and how you serve and giving the people the things that they need to be successful? So that's one of those that I'm like, all the clients we work with are trusted mentors in their own domain. And I just want to elevate what they're doing and let them get louder in the marketplace, because I know the way that they're serving the people and helping out their community have their own transformation. So that's kind of, my own philosophies around, kind of our role as entrepreneurs.
Yeah. I got into the world of facilitation and teaching and coaching through experiential education. So I would take corporate groups on rock climbing adventures or on kayaking adventures or out camping or whatever, and help them get these transformational corporate group experiences. And we would do this all over the world. It was amazing. But trying to teach someone something, like writing down a lesson, having a whole set of objectives, the way that we're supposed to like build courses with objectives, is so detached from the actual impact your business can have on your customers, the things you have to teach, the impact that they have on your people. So if you think about it from the perspective of experiential education, where you're guiding their journey and you give them it positions your students as the experts, as you say, in their own fields. You know that they're experts. You're here to elevate them. You're not here to teach down to them. And then that really, I think that takes a lot of the burden off of us, of what we're expected to do to write down that step-by-step process. Instead, it's like, let's just guide you on your journey.
Oh man, I love that. And so here's the other thing, just because you set me up. Um, Experience. What is experience? Like
Yeah.
how you experience through your senses. So like touch, taste, sight, sound, smell, your senses. That's how you experience the world. So this is why like going through a kayaking trip or a hiking trip, it's immersive. You are all here together. You are sharing this moment in time. But it's activating what you smell, what you see,
Yeah.
like even through experience. If you're talking about selling, like when you stimulate senses, imagine going to the movie theater. What's the first thing we smell? We smell the popcorn. Popcorn is point of sale. Same thing happens when I walk through O'Hare Airport in Chicago. When I walk past like Nuts on Clark or Garrett's Popcorn and I smell it, like I instantly am like, oh my gosh, like I have to buy it. Whatever those triggers are. When you talk about a digital only solution, like you are only doing a course. For most people, all these billions and billions of people competing to get your attention each day are fighting for two senses, because that's all the digital channel is: what you see, what you hear. That's it. So the cool thing about when we think about experience, when you go to a live event versus watching it virtually, it's a very different experience. When you go to Disney World is like the king of the experience. Everything is stimulated in terms of excitement and enjoyment to create that environment. They like have it covered. But that's the thing, is like, how are we thinking about, why do so many people struggle? Why is there a 3% success rate or completion rate with a lot of digital products and services? It's because we make it too hard for them to even get started with the experience. And we're leaving these other senses like high and dry. This is why I love sending people stuff, because I can't recreate Disney World or your favorite restaurant in which you smell, but at least I can bring the kinesthetic to the digital.
Yeah. And like when you receive a card in the mail, for example, you're going to keep it on your desk, or it's going to be a memento that you keep coming back to. That memory keeps getting triggered. So let's talk nerdy stuff about experience for a bit. So I used to work in the travel industry, and our whole thing was the experiential cycle. The experiential cycle in the travel industry is a 1-year cycle on average for the average traveler. So it takes 6 months of it. You get 6 months of pre-travel excitement where they're getting ramped up. They're getting excited. They're seeing they're planning all of their side hustles. They're figuring out what they're going to wear. They're packing their bags. They're unpacking and repacking. They're getting all their camera gear together, right? You get that 6 months of, I'm going on this trip. Disney, here I come, whatever it is. Then you get the actual experience itself, which could be a weekend. It could be a week. It could be a month, whatever it is. But that experience is then extended for another 6 months of post-trip buzz and excitement and sharing your photos with your friends and all of that. So that experience cycle is completely missing in most digital products. And I think it's because digital products are so easy to produce that we are just manufacturing them and thinking it's just one funnel away. Excuse me, you're just one funnel away. You're just one step away. But we forget about that back end experience and actually nurturing our people. So you do boxes. Tell people about boxes and how this ties in and how this is a solution for this brain drain of digital products.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people, when you think about boxes, instantly go to swag boxes. And what you're offering is a swag box. And I would always say, like, I'm not in the business of swag boxes. If you're looking to do swag boxes, the thing about swag is it's stuff. And I'm like, swag is stuff without a goal. It's stuff. I want intention. I want results. So when we think about boxes are vehicle, direct mail is our channel. That's where we deliver value. I keep it really simple. Like, how do we think strategically about the role box can play? Think about your customer life cycle. And it's I love how you just broke that down, because there's 3 phases to every customer life cycle. There's the acquisition phase. You acquire. I think I'm like backwards. Am I on the left side now? I think
You mix it up.
Acquisition. You acquire a customer. That's a whole different interaction. How do I get you to point of sale? Delivery, you bought my thing, you bought my course, you bought my coaching program, you bought my software as a service platform. Delivery is a different phase. Now, how do I better give you the tools and resources to simplify success? And then finally is retention ascension. So yeah, acquisition, delivery, retention. Retention is, I mean, people forget retention is one of the most powerful sources of traffic. Retention is a source of traffic. It's the people who are your hot buyers who are literally, like Russell Brunson says this brilliantly, people stop buying from you for two reasons. One, you piss them off, so they don't want to buy from you anymore. Two, you stop selling to them. So retention, and how do we think about retention? Retention is all about either ascension or it's about recognition and celebration. You achieved a milestone. I see you. We're humans. We want to be seen. We want to be celebrated. This is why, like, the 2 Comma Club award is so powerful, is because it's a retention play for ClickFunnels. If you don't pay the $100 or $300 per month to stay active on their platform, you can't qualify for this award. So you are being retained. And what are they doing? They're celebrating you. They're letting you walk across stage. It's a game that has no ending to it. So guess what happens when you hit 7 figures? Now it's about hitting 8 figures.
Yep.
Guess what they're doing now? Well, they're now like launching a $1 billion award. Do you think when more and more businesses hit $1 billion that they're not going to eventually have a $1.5 billion and someday a $10 billion award? The game is never going to end because it's such a powerful retention play, and it's such a great mark for celebration. You get to celebrate your success, but at the back end, they're also monetizing on you. They're still making money off of you. They're retaining you. So I look at everything when we think about boxes. Is the goal acquisition? We're trying to get that customer or that client. Is the goal we already have them? We want to deliver a better quality product or service. Or is it retention and ascension? Is it the retention piece? Is it about celebration, or is it about seeding the next step of the process? Very different ways to think about box design. And the story inside the box needs to complement the goal to help them better achieve that outcome. Acquisition. Let me be your trusted mentor. So many different things that you can do on that front. I don't know if you want to get into it now, but like how you think about that story is a very different story than now you're delivering your product or service to them. Yeah. I want you to get the outcome, and let me help accelerate that timeline.
So in your acquisition phase, would you say a lot of the messaging is geared towards the attractive character? I am the guide for you. Here's my credibility and authority. Here's things we do. Here's testimonial related things like ClickFunnels does. Let's say 1 funnel away box. You get the stuff to achieve the thing. Like technically it's delivery, but it's an acquisition type. And it's filled with flyers and pamphlets and brochures for this is the world. This is what we can offer. Is that what you would say in an acquisition box?
Acquisition to me, and this is going to be a big thing we're going to be doing in the year ahead, is thinking about new means to acquire traffic. So how do I start to help you rethink the money you may be spending in Facebook ads for another physical touch point? So whether it's no or low ticket product, one of the things to think about, especially with boxes, we're testing out 2 things in the market. One is custom branded mailers, rigid mailers. Why do I like these? Because they're really inexpensive and they're really cheap to ship out. So what the story I would think about in there is all about nurture. How do I start to give you free value? How do I start to seed my value ladder and the ways that I can serve you? Because part of it is we don't do a good job just telling people how we can serve them. We're over engineering this stuff. Part of it is giving them a clean, clear pathway. Like, how do I give you I want to start to set myself up as your trusted mentor. So we are, with anyone who comes in our process, this is something we're going to be rolling out, is we're going to send you something physical to complement digital. And a lot of our boxes and the experiences we create, it's not about just physical or just digital. It's about bringing the 2 worlds together. How do I get you to interact with me in a physical sense and a digital sense? It's 2 different touch points. But we're testing both that, and I'll even show you from an acquisition front. We're about to launch we're calling a Start Here box. So rather than doing a free plus ship book, let's do a free plus ship box, and let's create an experience out of it. So it's really self-liquidating. We're not looking to make money on this. We're looking to build a relationship with you. But it's acquisition in the sense of it's all primed to sell you on a higher ticket product or service. The 1 funnel away box is definitely delivery. One of the things that they do really well, which is what you called out with those flyers, is they're seeding you right away. One of the things that you always would see is they're already seeding you on 2 Comma Club coaching. to Comma Club X coaching. So like they want to do that because like it's not only about delivering, here's the workbook you need for the challenge. That's all about giving you the things that you need to be successful. The pieces also aim to get you to take action or seed something that is coming up. So after you have this amazing experience, like I can't even tell you. I remember when I joined Two Comma Club Coaching. This was in 2018, the first year that it launched. There was somebody sitting in front of me at Funnel Hacking Live that knew that they were going to pitch a high ticket offer. They didn't know what it was, but they were already sold on it. And it was because Russell had been seeding it for months, years. I mean, he even seeded Category Kings, which is a brand new coaching tier 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He didn't launch it until October of this year, 2021. But like he'd filled up like that because even though he didn't know what the mechanics are, he had been seeding it for such a long time that when it came, it didn't take long for him to fill it up. But that's the power of at least planting those seeds for your higher ticket products. That's what he's doing in that. It was a delivery box, but he's already seeding for the Ascension play as well.
And then would Ascension boxes be like awards and trophies and badges and that kind of stuff?
When I think of like retention, like a lot of what we look at is, I'll use Catherine Jones as an example. You know, one of the things that we did was when you joined her high ticket coaching program, you got a welcome box, but then you also got is like the next piece of the equation, the inbox. So it literally, I actually have it right here. You literally got a box that said in on it. And part of why this is also a retention play is that like we want you to collect the series to spell her program Insiders. So like part of that is an ascension play, a retention ascension play, because you want to collect the series. We have many clients that, you know, what you don't want to do, which we as digital marketers do really well, is overwhelm. Like we are really good at just giving you so much stuff to the point that it paralyzes you to get started. What I'd rather see is like, if you have a big program, even memberships, this is great in membership. In a membership, you join my membership program, you're paying a monthly fee. How do I keep you engaged? I may give you the first box, but I may seed the whole journey. So the first box goal is just to get you the first outcome. I don't want to put a year's worth of stuff in it. I want to just give you enough to get that first result. And when you have it and you raise your hand, you know, you can have that feedback loop. When we talk about feedback loops, how do we get people to voluntarily raise their hand to talk about their successes, provide testimonial, give me a means to celebrate you. And then we can bring in the next equation and the next one. So from a retention standpoint, collection of a series is a retention play because you can't collect them all if you leave the program early. It's also a perfect means to seed the ascension element, which is what's the next thing I can do? Well, chances are if you have a membership, there's chances are a lot of people tend to have a higher ticket coaching program. So membership may be $97 a month or $47 a month, but you may have that $10,000, $25,000, $50,000 coaching program that you're constantly seeding. But when they're ready and they're at that point, can easily ascend up because they know you are putting me in momentum. I am getting results from working with you. Why would I look anywhere else when you've established yourself as my trusted mentor? Because I'm getting results with you and I just want to continue to grow. Why would I go somewhere else and risk it when I know that you have an ability to educate or to get me to take action in a way that is driving results? So that's kind of where I think about like the retention ascension, and then celebration is all part of that. Whatever you can do. One of the things that we're doing with our clients is the tiles behind me. We tell our clients that like every box they release to market is a transformation. They're simplifying their clients or their customers' transformation to get the outcome. So one thing that we've started to do is send them, you know, we call it our one box project, send them their tile that goes on my wall. And if you can see, if I could stretch out this entire wall, and this wall is starting to get covered with all different boxes we've launched, but it's because I see them and I want to recognize them and celebrate them. That's a retention play because, you know, it's just celebrating what they're already doing in the marketplace.
Oh, I think that's so powerful. So powerful. So if people want to get first getting started, they're like bootstrapping it entirely, starting from the bottom. What is one quick thing that they can do to help build that connection and build on that experience?
You have to remember that as the trusted mentor or as the attractive character for your brand, don't do things that you think your audience wants. If you have had the outcome, teach them the systems of how you do things. And I say this in a way that like it seems so like obvious, but like oftentimes I get on calls with people and they talk about like the vision of what they want in their program and what they want it to do. And I'm like, yes, but do you do that? Like, is that how you got to this solution?
Yeah.
And oftentimes, I can't tell you how often the answer is no, but I think they would like this. No. Like so much of your success is based on how you do things. When I like lay out strategy, I don't know if you, I think you're like me, Molly. I may be speaking for you, but I love, where are they? I love post-it notes.
Yes.
Like, and so when I do things, I like colored post-it notes. I like creating different systems using post-it notes. So guess what? When I teach someone, guess what's going to be in their box as part of the solution to the outcome? Well, if I use post-it notes in terms of how I may lay out my strategy and move things around, I'm probably going to create a tool that gives them a place to put the post-it notes, which is the framework that I already use, and I'm going to give them the post-it notes. Like it doesn't have to be over-engineered or simple. It doesn't have to be like you don't have to overcomplicate it. That's all I'm saying. So like recognize the things that you're doing, recognize like and especially even the stories as to how you got started. Don't lose sight of those because those. What do I like to put in boxes? Like I'm going to package you up in a way that, and I tell this to all my clients, like the box has got to reek you. So you know, if you're we have a product that's called a virtual social box because I want like the whole idea of it is it's a great starter product, but like the choice you need to make is do you want a wine glass, do you want a rocks glass, or do you want a coffee mug? And it's amazing how many people come to me and they're like, oh, coffee mug because more people will like it. And I'm like, do you drink coffee? No. Do you drink tea? No. Then why are you sending them a coffee mug? Like you are the person at the center of this. They're going to have transformation based on being connected to you. They're buying you. So if you're someone who drinks wine, like the intent of this box is do a happy hour, you know, once a month. And they have the wine glass that unifies them. That's part of their ticket that makes them feel connected to you. And even if they don't drink wine, doesn't mean you can't serve people who don't drink wine. They'll still show up. They can put water, they can put sparkling water in it. But the
it's
whole
the creating of the experience.
And it's true to you. So you're going to show up more like you. If you don't drink coffee and everyone has a coffee mug and you're just kind of sitting there, like it's so easy. Like this is where like that piece gets like people overcomplicate it. And I'm like, oh, this is so easy. How are you doing things? What do you like? What do you do? What like let's put you at the center of this because guess what? When you start to teach them and step in that role of a trusted mentor, when it's heartfelt stories and things that you do to have the transformations you've had, it's a different way you show up because you're not fabricating something that you're trying to make work. It truly is the way that you do it. So that's like the amount of money that people save on boxes is they're like this. And then I'm like, do you do that? No. Get rid of it.
Would you want a box with that in it? No, then don't put it in.
And here's the other thing I'll say, just starting out though, like even if you want to send something physical, like we like create elaborate experiences, but you don't have to do that starting out. Like sometimes it's great to test and see what works. So don't feel obligated to brand everything. Don't feel obligated to have this fully crazy box experience, especially when you don't have all the answers. So it's okay to keep it simple and send them a couple post-it notes that are unbranded and the pens that you like let it be a connection of like, don't put stuff in a box for the sake of doing it. Like make sure it's things that aid the success of them.
It reminds me of giving good Christmas gifts. Like this year I went on this big this process of really connecting with the people who I was giving gifts to and understanding the story of why the gift matters. So for example, one of the gifts, they're all boxes of things. And so the first theme that was really, really great was the fact that it's now winter, so we have less daylight. People are getting a little bit more depressed. It's a little bit hard. And where we are here in Canada, we have more lockdowns and things like that. So in an effort to help alleviate that and recognize that's the story that our customer is dealing with right now, or the person receiving the gift. And we need to help them get out of that state of mind and move into a different state of mind. So the gifts we gave were all about staying cozy inside in the winter. So there was books, there was sprinkles for hot chocolate and hot chocolate mix, there was mugs, there was slippers and socks and sparkly lights that you can put up around the house, and things that were all geared towards understanding where our person is now, where we want them to be, and how we can help them get there. And yeah, so I'm going to keep thinking about that more often.
Yeah, I love that. But like you're creating when you're, I mean, you have a background and experience, so you get it. Like it's just one of those things that it doesn't take a lot, but like the intention, like be
Yeah.
intentional with what you do.
Mhm.
I like the nature of our business. We don't do custom gifting. We're a little bit more like scale.
Yeah.
So I think about like how do we create something that can work for 100 people or 10,000 people. Just because it's easier to produce and you can still do it. But like everything needs to have intention. I don't like stuff in there. This is why I like perfect example. I've joined programs. So the second I join them, they send me a t-shirt. Chances are when I get a t-shirt, if I don't feel connection to that thing, then it's going to go in the goodwill pile. And I have shirts from programs that like they have no meaning to me. I bought something and they sent it to me. There's no connection that I have right here. I don't want to wear an advertisement for them. Whereas there's also things that like a perfect example of how I would love to use t-shirts is Kajabi. When you make your first $1,000, they send you a Kajabi hero shirt. It's different because you earned it. For someone who's never made $1,000 online, they're saying, I see you, I recognize you. For Kajabi, that's a retention play. That is easily a retention play. You have to stay active on their platform to get it, but they're celebrating you. So when you wear the shirt, you take more pride in it. Or another great example is Beachbody.
Yep.
Beachbody, if you ever did P90X, they sent you a box. There was no t-shirts. It was all the things you needed to be successful with the program, but there was a sheet in there with a call to action to say, take a picture before, take an after picture, send us your before and after picture with your testimonial, and we'll send you the shirt. You earned the shirt. So it's different. And then people would take their pictures and go crazy on the internet with their Beachbody shirt for successfully completing P90X, but they wanted to celebrate them.
Yeah.
So it was a retention play. It was also a great way to get testimonials. So they had that feedback loop in order to earn it. But if you transform your body in 90 days because of it, you're not going to think twice about not sending it. You have this incredible transformation that they gave you what you needed to have it. And that's when the shirt came into play. So that's where I'm like intention with it. Shirts aren't bad. Swag's not bad. I want a little bit more reason why you're doing it.
It's like experience is the bridge or the gateway between someone being a follower, like someone who's just subscribed to you on social media, casually paying attention to what you're doing, and someone who is in your movement, someone who is bought in and taken on that identity. When you wear that shirt, when you make that decision that it's not going in the goodwill pile, it's going in my dresser, I'm going to wear that one. You're saying this is my cape, this is my armor, this is something I stand behind.
Yeah.
It becomes part of your identity, melds with that brand. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love it. You know, I love that stuff. Like that's it. Like this is exactly why I'm like coffee mugs, water bottles. Like these are such common items that people put in boxes. So I'm like, if you want to put a coffee mug in, give me the experience around it. Okay, once every Tuesday at 10 a.m., we're going to have coffee chats. And everyone's going to come, bring your cup of coffee. Like, you just gave me something to want to save it and want to use it. Like, there's more of an experience around it. Water bottle. Like, I love a good water bottle. Don't get me wrong. I always carry my water bottle with me. But it's very different for me just to be like, here's a water bottle. Or if I were to say as a mentor, when I get stressed out, here's what I do. I fill up my water bottle with water. And then I go outside for 15 minutes and breathe in fresh air. And I just drink my water and just breathe in the fresh air from outside. That's what I do to get centered and back into state to clear my mind when I get stressed out. You will. So I want them to think I will get stressed out in the journey of becoming an entrepreneur. I'm going to grab the same water bottle that Mark has, fill it up, and go outside for 15 minutes. I want it to be the thing that allows us to have that unified experience no matter where you are. Take it to the next level. I can put a QR code on the water bottle And we have a platform that every time you scan a QR code, you could change it. So every day when I scan it, it's a new experience and a new touch point. So not only can I do this and take this activity, but I can also have like something to center me, or a daily workout or some type of exercise, each day that Mark brings to it. So there's just so much you can do, but I want experience. And I love the merriment of physical and digital.
That is brilliant. And the idea of having a live show, because I love live shows, having a live show to be that moment where you bring your people together.
Yeah.
So imagine you have a show where, say, it's like Self-Care Sunday. Everyone's been sent the same like crazy masks or whatever, and you do it once a month. Y'all get together. Everyone has their crazy mud masks on Zoom, and you're
That's so funny.
sending that out to your stream. And everyone watching is like, hey, how do I get in on that? That looks fun. Or those are
Oh, that's
definitely not my
amazing.
people.
I love that. You should totally do that.
Oh, I got ideas.
We'll talk. We'll talk. I love that, though, by the way. That's hysterical, too.
And it's that moment of seeing other people doing something you enjoy doing, which is why reality TV is so popular, is because we like that voyeurism. It gives us that sense of safety where we can watch people bickering on one of the shows that's popular in this household. I've renamed International Angry Couples. So you can passively watch the arguments, but you feel safe not really being part of that. But then on the flip side of it, you can also glamorize yourself of, oh, I wish I lived in Beverly Hills. I love this show and I wish I lived in these houses. And we get that experience as well. So creating a show where you're showcasing what it's like to have that lifestyle or even those moments of interaction, those experiences, and say, come join us. Experiences don't need to be big, like jumping off a cliff, jumping out of an airplane, having a baby. It doesn't need to be giant things like that. Experiences can be, come hang out every Friday night for an hour on Friday Night Live in the visibility hacking group. Like, we just hang out. This is what we do. And we talk about the stuff we like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this is like the goal for all of us should be connection and community. People want to feel a part of something. People want to feel like they have a home. I think a lot of us are yearning for that element of connection that, like, especially during COVID, I can't tell you how many clients we've had, and in speaking to their customers, I felt so disconnected from, look what's happening right now in the world. Like I walked back into the grocery store earlier today, and it's been a while since I've seen everyone wearing masks. Mm-hmm. I hadn't seen that here in Texas, and usually it's very liberal, a lot more liberal here in Texas because we're just naturally spread out. Yeah. But it caught my attention because, again, like, we are at the state that, like, borders are getting shut down again for international travel. Things are getting canceled left and right again. Just read an article about the cruise industry is now having to reevaluate everything again after finally, and that's like, I can't even imagine how much is being lost in lots of those travel industry players. But, like, it's a new world we live in, and we feel so disconnected from one another. Little things like this to get that thing that allows us to have one experience together, no matter where we are, is really powerful.
Yeah.
I love that. Mask is hysterical.
There was a really cool thing that happened during COVID. I'm always looking at silver linings to what's been going on with COVID, and it's really helped push a lot. Well, almost every business has had to pivot in some way, shape, or form, and some of those pivots are really inspirational. And there's a local theater in Toronto that next door they have like this really boutique restaurant. And they're very small, and they make all of their money off of live productions. Well, when you can't go live production in person anymore, how does your business thrive? And they had this partnership, these two businesses, for years and years to feed the people who come for the live productions on time. Well, their pivot was to create these dinner boxes where you do 90% of the cooking is done. You just do the final plating. So you feel like you've made the dinner. It comes with a perfectly paired bottle of wine, a little card about what your wine pairing is, and tickets to that night's live streamed improv event where there's back and forth. There's a little bit of give and take, that improv magic. And so you create these magical moments with
Love that.
keepsakes that you can remember later on. And when they started to get back in real life with everyone in person, they kept that virtual version as well because it was so great at keeping that experience going. I think that was pretty cool. Did you see any cool pivots?
You know what's interesting though is just to build upon that. I think that one of the things that we learned is um, people. So for a lot of people in the online space, the way they do a lot of their high ticket selling is at
Yeah.
live events,
Yeah.
and like it can't be digital. It has to be live and in person. You control the atmosphere,
Yeah.
and what one big revelation on the spirit of that is people. I know people who are canceling their live events indefinitely or going hybrid because they realize like the challenge with a live event is it's limited capacity and it's butts and seats. Like you
Yeah.
have to be in the room, otherwise like you can't control that. And they're learning, wait a second, I have no limits now. So all the people on the other side of the world who could not make it in to like, because it's amazing, people who fly in internationally I have the most respect for, because it's like living in, I've been to events in Austin, living in Austin or Orlando, that's like a 2 hour plane ride, and I'm there like that, and it's
Yeah.
probably $100 for the plane ride round trip. Like for people who have to come from Australia and just you name it,
Yeah.
we have to give up like a week. Like
Yeah.
and it's an investment in hotels and everything. Now they can have the transformation, and so to me the coolest thing that I'm seeing, and it's not going anywhere, is the power of a virtual only event or a hybrid event, and the ability to, I'm seeing businesses generate more revenue because they can serve a wider net,
Yeah.
that aren't limited by the bodies in the seats. So things like that, that's kind of where you're seeing, there, it's never going back. The way that we did it before is never happening again. And now you're seeing a lot of your even Fortune 500 companies say um, that working from the office is no longer a requirement, like if indefinitely. Like before we thought you had to be in the boardroom having the conversation live, and now to see them switch to like going through corporate America, I never fathomed that this model would ever be disrupted in a way that I don't have a desk to go
Yeah.
to. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of incredible just to see it's a new generation of
Yeah.
everything.
The
So
possibilities
nothing,
are endless.
and especially just like, man, I never thought I'd live in a pandemic in my life.
Yeah.
So
We're going to
no,
look back on this and tell our grandkids about it.
I know, but like I think about like what are the milestone events in our lifetime that have happened.
Yep.
And I mean, this is definitely, I mean, you have your 9/11s and your Unabombers and your Columbines and the
Yeah.
pandemic. I mean, I don't think there's been anything like this.
If you look historically, we have event horizons that are short term and we have event horizons that are long and extended, like wars and the Depression. And this is, I think about my grandparents who lived through the Depression and they lived through wars. So they have their life is in these massive milestones that when you step back, you see where they fit into history. And this is the same thing of like, this is did you ever watch the kids show Reboot back in the 90s, early 2000s?
I did
One of the
not.
first like early CGI animation shows.
No, I did not.
Oh, it was
I
amazing. So it
will check it out though.
takes place inside of a computer. So all the characters are hexadecimals and gigabits and all that kind of stuff. And what happens is that the GameCube, the player will play a game and it will descend this big, giant, ominous black box on a segment of the city. And anyone caught within that segment has to play the game. And that's what I feel is happening with COVID, is this big black box, and we're all playing this game. We're all figuring it out. We're trying to win, but the box is never going to go away. We're just going to figure out what it's like.
It's amazing too, because one of my predictions is that was when in 2018 when I went all in on the online space, I was like wild wild west. But and when I got started, I'm not saying it doesn't exist today, but like it's so hard to discern good from bad. And part of this is a game of endurance that, oh, you've been playing it longer than me, therefore you must be good at it. And there are like, I've met so many people who have the wrong intent, and a lot of amazing people who have the right intent with how they're growing their business and serving. A lot of people are really good at acquisition. They're not really good at delivery. So they're really good
Yep.
at selling you on the dream, but they don't know how to fulfill the dream.
Yep.
Um, and so like it's so hard that, oh my God, marketing is amazing and the ability to kind of mask, good from bad. But the one thing I kept on saying is that digital marketing is just a matter of time before this becomes more sophisticated. That a lot of this bad that exists as it gets more and more sophisticated, ideally that starts to go away, and it gets a little bit clearer that it's less wild west. It's more, easier to discern good from bad. We're a long way from that, but we've come. What's accelerated that has been now the corporate world is forced into digital.
Yep.
And when you get forced into digital, I remember friends from business school, like when they've been watching me make this transition to digital, and they're like, I have no idea what Mark's doing, to, oh my gosh, now I see what you're doing.
Yep.
I am lost. Like it's a whole different language. It's a whole
Yep.
different world. And the only way I attribute it is coming from corporate. For those of you in corporate, is it's like checkers versus chess. Like literally the game board looks the same. The game
Yep.
board is the same for checkers and chess. The rules are so different. And if you try and play checkers with chess rules, you will fail. So like I came into digital marketing with a corporate mindset and tried to force, like, I'm good at corporate. I had a successful corporate career. I believe I was a high performer in what I did. And then you take high performer in corporate and force them in the digital marketing game. And I failed and failed and failed because this is a digital marketing is very like done beats perfect, launching perfectly. We don't celebrate you being the world's greatest generalist. You have to be known for something and really celebrate. Like, this is why I went all in on boxes, because it was my pathway to be able to deliver the transformation the way I like to deliver it. But in corporate America, it was different. It's got to be client ready, not done beats perfect. We celebrate you being good at everything, not being very good at one thing. Like, it was just a very different game. But that's it, is that now you got this influx, and as people start to get more sophisticated and more people play the game, it's going to elevate the game. And that's kind of where it's just, you're right. It's unpredictable. The box is evolving, but it's going to evolve a lot faster, and there'll be new boxes that get introduced constantly. But it's a different game now than it was in 2015 or 2018 even.
Yeah. And it will
Which is a
forever
good thing, I
evolve.
think. Yeah.
What a fantastic interview. My hot tip for you this week is to look for opportunities to genuinely connect with your people, whether it's connecting through physical things, whether it's connecting through a box, whether it's connecting through accessories for your live event, or it's connecting through a live show. I want you to consciously build in moments this week to connect with your people. Connect on the level of human to human, not necessarily business owner to customer, but instead human to human. Find those opportunities where you can serve your audience at the highest level possible, and you will reap the rewards. Oh man, what a fantastic episode today. What a fantastic conversation. I'm still like mind blown. I've probably listened to that conversation 10 times over and over again, and every single time I get new information, new nuggets of knowledge. So I'm so glad I got to share that with you. Thank you for joining us today. I will see you again in our next episode. Remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other and just go live. Your people are waiting for you.